Imagine a narrow mountain pass, cliffs towering above, and a small band of warriors facing an army so vast it seemed to blot out the sun. This was the Battle of Thermopylae, a moment where courage defied impossible odds. In 480 BCE, a handful of Greeks stood against the might of the Persian Empire in a fight that still echoes through history. Why does this battle captivate us even today? The Battle of Thermopylae wasn't just a clash of swords, it was a defining moment that shaped Western civilization. Led by King Leonidas of Sparta, 300 Spartans and their allies faced the colossal Persian army under Xerxes I. Ready to step into the pass? Let's go. The stage is set. Picture this: a Persian king, Xerxes, burning with ambition to conquer Greece, leading an army said to number in the millions. Could a tiny coalition of Greek city-states stand a chance? The stage for Thermopylae was set by the growing tension between the Persian Empire and the fiercely independent Greeks. In 480 BCE, Persia was the superpower of the ancient world, stretching from modern-day Iran to Egypt. Xerxes, seeking to expand his empire, aimed to crush Greece after his father Darius's earlier defeat at Marathon in 490 BCE. The Greeks, divided into city-states like Athens and Sparta, were no match in numbers. The Greeks chose Thermopylae, a narrow coastal pass in central Greece, as their stand. Why? Its geography was perfect, a bottleneck where numbers mattered less than skill. The pass, flanked by mountains and sea, forced the Persians to funnel their massive army into a tight space. This was the Greeks' chance to make a stand. The heroes. Who were these men who dared to face an empire? Meet King Leonidas and his 300 Spartans, warriors trained from childhood to embrace death over defeat. Their story is the heart of Thermopylae, a tale of discipline and sacrifice. Leonidas, king of Sparta, was no ordinary leader. At around 60 years old, he was a seasoned warrior, raised in Sparta's brutal agoge system, where boys became soldiers through relentless training. His 300 were handpicked, elite Spartans chosen not just for skill, but because they had sons to carry on their family lines. This was a mission they knew they might not survive. But it wasn't just the 300. Leonidas led a coalition of about 7,000 Greeks, including Thespians, Thebans, and others. While the Spartans are the most famous, these allies fought bravely too. Together, they faced a Persian force modern historians estimate at 100,000. 300,000. Still a staggering mismatch. Day 1. Can you imagine the ground trembling as thousands of Persian troops march toward you? On the first day of the Battle of Thermopylae, the Greeks turned the narrow pass into a killing zone, proving quality could outmatch quantity. In August 480 BCE, the battle began. The Persians sent wave after wave of troops, Medes, Scythians, and even elite immortals, into the pass. The Greeks, using the phalanx formation, stood shoulder to shoulder with long spears and heavy shields. This tight formation was perfect for the narrow terrain, making it nearly impossible for the Persians to overwhelm them. The Spartans' discipline was unmatched. They rotated troops to keep fighters fresh, while their bronze armor and rigorous training turned them into a wall of death. Persian arrows, meant to darken the sky, were less effective against the Greeks' shields and the pass's natural cover. The stand was holding, but for how long? Day 2. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? On day 2, the Persians grew desperate, but a shadow loomed, a betrayal that would change everything. Xerxes, frustrated by his army's failure, sent more elite troops, including his feared immortals. Again, the Greeks held firm, their phalanx shredding Persian ranks. The narrow pass neutralized Xerxes' numbers, and the Greeks' morale soared. Stories tell of Spartans combing their hair before battle, a defiant act showing they feared neither death nor the enemy. But late on day 2, disaster struck. A Greek trader, Ephialtes, revealed a hidden mountain path to Xerxes. This goat trail, called Anopaia, allowed the Persians to flank the Greeks and surround them. Day 3. Picture the dawn of the 3rd day. Leonidas and his men know they're surrounded, yet they choose to fight. Why? Because for them, retreat was worse than death. This is where legends are born. On the final day, Leonidas dismissed most of the Allied troops, sparing them for future battles. He kept his 300 Spartans, about 700 Thespians who refused to leave, and a few others, totaling around 1,400 men. Their mission? Hold the pass as long as possible to delay Xerxes and protect the retreating Greeks. The final stand was chaos and glory. Surrounded, the Greeks fought with ferocity, using broken spears, swords, and even their hands as weapons fell. Leonidas fell, but his men fought on, reportedly killing 20,000 Persians before the last Greek died. The Persians won the pass, but at a staggering cost. Thermopylae was no longer just a place, it was a symbol. Why Thermopylae matters? Why does a 2,500-year-old battle still grip our imaginations? Thermopylae isn't just history, it's a story of courage, sacrifice, and the human spirit. The tale of the 300 has been immortalized in poetry, art, and modern media like the film 300. While dramatized, these retellings capture the battle's core. A small force defying a giant. Thermopylae symbolizes standing firm against overwhelming odds, a theme that resonates across cultures and eras. The real Thermopylae. Did 300 Spartans really take on 1,000,000 Persians? Let's peel back the legend to find the truth, because the real story is just as gripping. Ancient sources like Herodotus exaggerated Persian numbers, claiming millions, but modern estimates suggest 100,000, 300,000, still a massive force. The Greeks numbered about 7,000 initially, not just 300, and included vital allies like the Thespians. In conclusion, close your eyes and imagine standing in that pass, shield in hand, facing an endless enemy. Would you stand with Leonidas? Thermopylae challenges us to ask what we'd fight for. The Battle of Thermopylae, fought in August 480 BCE, was a brief but seismic event. It showed that courage, strategy, and unity could defy even the greatest empire. Leonidas and his men didn't just fight, they inspired a legacy that shaped history. So, the next time you hear of Thermopylae, don't just think of 300 Spartans. Think of a coalition of Greeks, a narrow pass, and a moment when ordinary men became legends. Their stand reminds us, sometimes, the smallest acts of defiance can change the course of history. If this got you thinking, don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. More content coming soon. Thanks for watching.